Hey guys, how's it going? Today, we are going to be doing a deck review on my tournament version of Dark Combrei. I had a lot of people talking to me about this list after. I had a lot of people telling me they hit masters with this deck. I know there's Reddit posts about it. At the same time, I've had a lot of people telling me this deck was constructed poorly. It's not what you want to be with Dark Combrei, and it's too greedy, and we're going to address that here. We're also actually talking about the deck individually. We're not going to talk about the power base. Why? Because of the math on it I'm not going to do out loud here. But I can tell you I am playing 31 sources of power, and that is correct. One thing you will note with this deck is you do need double time on 2, double shadow on 3, and double justice on 3. The thing is, this deck I think can do it. So it uses, let's start from the power base. We have 4 seeks and 2 find the way to help ensure our requirements, and I think that's enough for this deck. Any more power and you're probably going to be too much power sources for the deck that actually just wants to hit 3 on 3 and 4 on 4. You don't really care about 5 or 6. They're for later on, and you can play games without these. Our 2-drop slot, we are more of a control deck than an aggressive deck, so we're not going to play any copies of Awakened Student or even Argenport Instigator, unlike my aggro version I play, which I'll do another video on at some point. But instead we have the 4 copies of Desert Marshal, which are just a premier silence effect, and any Combrei deck wants these, and Temple Scribe. This gets us power, this gets us some life, it blocks early game against like Oni Ronin, and it also is just a creature to go with Obelisk. I apologize for the burp. Plus it hits our power drops. Card's great. And it's card advantage late. Ayan has replaced Combrei Healer. And Ayan is a amazing card in my opinion. It's super good against aggro, although it's a little bit harder to cast. This guy could steal games by himself, both with his lifesteal, his ambush ability, and his ultimate is why Combrei Healer is worst. The ultimate is another late game sync for this deck, which is one thing that sometimes you draw healer or more power with this deck and you'd be disappointed in your late game draws. Instead, I'm set here with Ayan, and that Ayan is just another threat, and sometimes you just get 9/9 Mystic Ascendants back. Any threat, and it's just a big body that's hard to deal with, plus even if you took off the ultimate, I think this card would still see play. So I think this guy is worth diluting your mana base a bit for. Siraf is an auto-include in any Combrei deck. It's a 3/4 for 4, which is already good. The overwhelm was nice. If you took off the ultimate, it's fine. And if you ultimate this guy 1 or 2 times in a game, you just win. Paying 8 to get a big creature is worth it. There's very few bad hits, and Obelisk makes every bad hit better. Scorpion Wasp is here, and I think this card could also be 2 copies of Banish. That's kind of up to you what you want to hit. I wanted it for Armory specifically, and just matchups where I actually had to kill big creatures. Like Heart of the Vault was a concern when I built this deck. So Scorpion Wasp is just 2 more removal spells for this deck that can also eat a weapon attack, and it can also just be a clock with Obelisk. This card is a 3/3 or a 2/2. More Obelisk, it's huge. Slay to me I think is an automatic 4 of, and you'll notice there's no Vanquish in this list. Instead I played Slay. A lot of lists play more removal than I do, but I like my Wasp a lot, and I wouldn't want Vanquish in this list. But the Slay is unconditional removal that interacts with everything. Our creatures are already trying to be bigger than our opponents, but sometimes we just need to kill a certain threat, maybe something with a lot of war cries, or just an early threat, or something hard to interact with. So Slay is just an unconditional removal spell that's perfect. One thing you'll notice so far is there's no harsh rules, which means stand together is better, because we are going to beat the other harsh rule decks by A, not having them stuck in our hand, and B, because we can beat them with stand together. Stand together deals with things like Permafrost, Witch Storm, harsh rule, annihilate, death strike, banish, etc. Slay. This card does a lot of things in this deck, and I think it's a super powerful card. It also helps end games, and if you give them to something like Makto, which we'll talk about later, the Aegis is continuous, by the way. So if this dies, it comes back with Aegis, and that's very hard to deal with. Valkyrie Enforcer is just a really good card. It's a 3-mana 3/3 flying. That's already good, and a big double justice is a little bit of a task sometimes, but it's fine. Being able to silence another unit is super relevant in this deck. Sometimes you win the game by just flying over with our Parliaments and Maktos and Valkyrie Enforcers. Sometimes you kill something like a Mystic Ascendant with it. Wiping the text off that card is super important. And having access to just 8 silence effects is super powerful in this deck. Now we move on to the 4-drops. Do I really need to explain Sandstorm Titan as arguably the best card in the game? So this card It hoses the other flying decks. It's an endurance body. It wears the Obelisk super well. And there's decks like Skycrag that really can't kill this card. If you kill it with Skycrag, you just use like an Obliterate, which a lot of us don't play, or 6 mana Flame Blast, meaning you're already flooded. So it's super hard to deal with, and often just brick walls some decks. Great Parliament is 2. That's purely because I think Makto is better in this list, but in the sideboard for a tournament, I'd play 2 more Parliaments. This card is just a good value card. Late game, it wins the game by itself, and it also wears Obelisk super well, while also letting us fly over in the air. I just think this card is an amazing card, and maybe you could try to fit 4 copies in the main deck. For Xenan Obelisk is what I replaced Harsh Rule with. I think this card is weaker than Harsh Rule. Sorry, I think this card is better than Harsh Rule, because you also win all the mirror matches because of it. If you play Harsh Rule, and I play Obelisk, and we're playing the mirror, my creatures are going to be so big that your Harsh Rules are stretched, and then it makes all of my creatures bigger, like my Sandstorm Titan now actually can attack into yours. I think this card just helps the deck win, and once you maybe get into a board stall or whatever, this is just the best thing to find. 4 copies of Makto. I've had some people tell me this is not worth playing a big Combrei, or the Dark Combrei style, and I disagree, and the reason for it is sometimes this deck board stalls, and sometimes you don't hit your 8 power to activate Siraf a billion times. This card just ends games quick. It comes back sometimes. It makes your opponent use his silences, which my deck has tons of things you need to silence. Ayan, Mystic, Siraf, Sandstorm Titan sometimes, Flyer sometimes. So this guy just stretches your resources, and he's an excellent payoff card with Obelisk and Stand Together. I think this card just goes in this deck, and I think it is a better card in my specific version than Marshal Ironthorn. Now let's go on to our last 2 cards. So that's our Elite Game Engine and Mystic Ascendant. Because just in case your ultimate creatures weren't enough, let's just draw some cards off our power. I'm only playing 2 because we don't really want to draw them that often, especially not in our opening hand. We can lose games because of that. And these just win games by themselves sometimes. Praxis really struggles to beat it as it becomes, once it's past 6 health, they have no way to deal with it. And I just think it's an awesome value card. I played this to a top 8 in the ETS last weekend. I may do it again this weekend. It's undecided. But I think this deck is super powerful. I think it does have a lot of interesting games to play. And I also think you will enjoy playing the deck while also finding lots of lines to take. Overall, I think this deck is like an 8 out of 10, maybe a little bit better. And you can build this in any way to adapt to any metagame you really expect to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck review. There will definitely be more of these in the future. I just kind of wanted to try this one out because this deck I knew was worth talking about. My overall thought is I think the Greedy Battle Base is worth the upside of getting Makto and Ayan, really. Those cards are so powerful that I think losing a couple of games to your mana being bad in order to actually win games that you normally wouldn't win because your cards are now so powerful is worth it in my opinion. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.